All right, Pete Kaiser, 2026, before the big race. I was just thinking as we were coming here of how many of these we've done, you know. So how many, I always ask this because I just don't remember. How many K300s for you?
I think this is 18.
18?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's 17 or 18.
Yeah. And it's, we always have this conversation because we see each other on the road, but this is kind of our first get together. So how's the year been going?
Overall, we had snow, we had wind, we had cold, we had a little bit of everything. So it seemed like there's always something around here, whether it's 40 above or 40 below. So way different than last year in terms of snow, but plenty of challenges nonetheless with wind chill and stuff like that, drifting and yeah.
So uh, family wise, the kids are getting bigger. You're running the Custo charter was kind of taken off. Stay really busy with that. That's kind of your other full-time gig, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, from May through, when the ice goes out in May to when the river freezes and usually in October, that pretty busy with it.
Yeah. What do you do?
Move a lot of freight, move a lot of people. We pick up rafters for Papa Bear Adventures, so they're rafting clientele on 2 different rivers, and then just river taxi service between Bethel and mostly the villages that are close to Bethel.
Yeah. I when you started the business, I was thinking about, wow, this is a real niche thing. But as I've watched you through the couple of years here, it's a niche that was needed. So it's really cool to watch. So congratulations on that, because that's kind of, you're truly working for yourself, and then you have off time in the winter. So it fits perfect, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I've spent a lot of years working on the river in the summer and mushing dogs in the winter. Started out fishing in Bristol Bay when I was a teenager to working on the barge for Knick and Linden to now having my own business being on the water. So I've pretty much spent every summer for 38 years on the water one way or another.
Yeah. So let's talk about your training. When did you get started?
We started hooking up dogs in late July this year, actually. So it's been to think back at when we were hooking up dogs and catching rod and reeling for silvers at the same time to now. It seems like a long time ago, but so yeah, we started hooking up dogs in late July, and then we ran as much as we could through August.
So what's a July training look like?
We're on a sled, heavy duty sled out on the tundra, and so pulling us across the tundra in slow speeds, 2-3 mile runs. Pretty good workout. Keeps them cool because we're mushing through little sloughs and swampy areas that have moisture, and so it helps keeping cool.
And mushing season is kind of over in March-ish. And then you train through as much as winter or something as we have. It's kind of, it's an athlete thing, isn't it? You're not letting them away from the training. So how's that worked out?
Yeah.
Starting earlier like that.
I've always started in August, whether it be early August, middle August, or end of August. Just kind of depends on my work schedule and what's going on, and the weather. Of course, it's hard to train if it's too hot out. But yeah. So we've always kind of, this is not really much different, but wanted to just start getting the dogs out in late July there. And so not a whole lot different than a normal year for us anyway. But they get a couple months off, end of April through May and June, and it's good for them to just chill for a few months. So.
Winter wise, this winter has been, knock on wood, you haven't had rain. It's like last year, how's the training been?
It's been, like I said, challenging with the wind chills the last month, but overall hard to complain because we have snow. November was spectacular. One of the best Novembers we've ever had. It wasn't super cold, but it was mild in the 20s most of November, and we had a little bit of snow early, and it stuck around through most of the month. And then we had kind of that rainstorm at the beginning of December, whenever that was, with that freezing rain. That was kind of weird, but overall it's been good. Just really challenging the last month to pick the right days to be out with the 50 and 60 below wind chill stuff that we're avoiding.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago at -30, we hadn't had that for quite a while. But the trail conditions are pretty good.
I think this is going to be one of the nicer races ever, really. Last year was pretty nice as well. We had to delay it, of course, but then it ended up being real nice for the race. So I think the trail's going to be nice, and the weather forecast looks very mild. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I was talking to Anna Barrington last night, and I said, it's kind of cheating. We're known for our weather. This is not it.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of been tired of the cold. The whole state's been cold for a month or so, and I think everybody's happy to not have to bundle up so tight and maybe relax a little more on the trail.
So, speaking of Anna, I was thinking as I was driving over here about, um, it seems like, this is her first K300. It seems like everybody comes here, right?
Most everybody.
I mean, everybody, the top names eventually end up here,
Yeah,
and what's the drop?
the money. No, I mean, the money brings the competitiveness, and then, you have a very competitive field, with an awesome purse. And then there's just so much history and prestige behind this race. And, this is the 47th running. It's almost 50 years now of this race. And I think the community members and everybody involved with the race make it a real special event. It's a big deal for our community. A lot of mushers who have been coming back for years have ties to their host families now and their friends. And so it's just a cool reunion for everybody every year. And so there's a lot of reasons besides the purse, but the purse is obviously a big draw. It's the most money paid out per mile in a dog race in the world. So, that's what starts it all. And then, there's just a lot of other things that come along with it that make it a real special event.
Yeah, talking with her, they kind of got into mushing, or Iditarod at least, about the same time you did. And so it to me, it was cool to see her finally get here, them finally get here. So speaking of that, what's the field look like?
23 teams and plenty of very good teams. Riley, who was second last year, is back. Cody Straith, who was third last year, and they were just finished second in the Copper Basin. They're back. And Mike Jr., who was fourth last year. Trying to think of who was fifth last year. But a lot of people that were in the top 5, top 10 last year are back. And some, a few new faces. So there's always a bunch of tough teams.
Now the race start is going to be back an hour, right? Don't we normally
hour and a half? I think it was 6:30.
6:30, right? So it's hour and a half. I was thinking about, and I didn't do the research about what the time was on that first race, but the teams have become, I mean, look at you, we're talking about training basically year round, which that wasn't kind of the way back then, and so as a result, these teams are beautiful and they're high power, very healthy, top of the line teams. So this is, spectators have had to change because the teams are so much faster.
Yeah. Yeah. The way the race is run, it's really a 2-night, 1-day race. It's hard to figure out, the perfect start time and the perfect finish time. So you kind of, the reason for the evening start on Friday is to make sure that we get people that get off work on Friday so we can get a big crowd at the start line. And then, of course, in the evening with the darkness, you can start the fireworks show right after the last team leaves. And then pushing it back a little bit more to 8 is going to hopefully get the front teams to finish more like between 8 and 9 Sunday morning, and not, 4 or 5 a.m. Sunday morning, which is kind of it's a tough time to get a big crowd down for the finishers. So, between 7 and 9 is a little more reasonable. Hopefully that brings a little bit bigger crowd down to the finish line, and then teams will finish throughout the whole day there Sunday. So.
Well, you may see more spectators on the trail this year with the road all the way to Antioch. Calskeg is supposedly really nice, and then Antioch's a little rough, but that's kind of neat because that's not a common occurrence, or hasn't been,
Yeah, you never really know if you're going to have an ice road or not.
Right.
And it's usually last minute if it is, so it's hard to ever plan for it. But they did just get one punched in just in the last few days. So
right. So you've had a lot of, very good success here. Is there a recipe? I mean, the reason I asked is people are asking me, so how do you do it? And I'm like, I'll tell you what, he's training all the time, and it's very, very a lot of dedication. But what do you think is
there's been consistency with the genetics and the dogs. And so this type of dog I have is proven to be really good at this style of racing. And we've kept that going with the breeding program and everything. And, we're on the 3rd and 4th generation of the same line of dogs that have done really well at this. And really, goes back much further, because a lot of the dogs I got from Jeff King and Brad and Ray's go back to his nine wins. So it's a lot of generations of winning Cusco 300 winning sled dogs.
Right.
We've kind of put our own spin on that genetically, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of different. I can't necessarily put my finger on one thing. I don't think it's ever one thing. If somebody wins Iditarod or wins K300 or wins any big race, there's just a bunch of different factors that go into it. But over the last 15 years, we haven't changed a whole lot with what we're doing. Every year it's different with a little bit different group of dogs, and we tweak it a little bit, but we haven't changed anything dramatically. A lot of our training really is dictated by our weather and our trails. So I just kind of roll with the punches on that stuff. So
Right. Speaking of the genetics and the team, who's our new faces and old faces are going to be on the team?
old face is Delmer. He's 8 now, and he's been in the team every year since he was 2, I believe. And he's been in the Iditarod every year since he was 2. So this is probably his 6th or 7th Cusco in a row. And he's been a phenomenal dog. He's one of the best dogs I've ever raced.
And where is he in the team?
He's a leader. Yeah. And so he's been in leading a bunch of our winning Cuscos, and he knows exactly what's going on this week. So, and he has not missed a beat this year at all at 8 years old. So that's kind of, sometimes you start to see them show their age a little bit about that age, but he hasn't so far this year. And then another leader, Mookie, that's 5 now, and he's been racing a bunch the last few years and in lead and stuff like that. And then there's a few young dogs. I'm actually still trying to pick the last few dogs all day. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what, kind of a good problem to have, but at the same time, it's like kind of drives you nuts all day trying to figure out what dog to take the last couple spots. So
speaking of Mookie, I was watching baseball.
Yeah.
And Mookie Betts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, there's Pete's dog. So just briefly talk about the lines and the names, because it's kind of cool how that worked out,
Yeah. So
because you had the skateboarding, I think.
There was a snowboard litter. But yeah, Mookie's litter is young baseball players when I named them 5 years ago. So Mookie, and then there's Trout, Seager, Harper, Soto, and Vlad. So yeah, they've been a great litter.
Yeah, when I was watching, is he in the series? He might have been in the series anyway.
Oh, Vlad and Mookie were both in the series.
Yeah, exactly. And every time I heard Mookie, I thought of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what about new faces?
There's a few 3-year-olds, Hodge, Austin, Sydney, Pulley. We'll see. I'm trying to pick between if they all go or if 2 of them go or what here.
So how do you decide? I mean, what do you in the back of your mind when some are going to go, and in other ones you're like, is that from your training?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the veterans, they'll go. Like some of these 3-year-olds haven't done the Cusco yet, so you're just like, I don't know. They've all looked good all year, but we haven't done a 300-mile training run, so we don't know exactly how they'll do. Yeah, it's somewhat of just a coin flip at the end.
So when you how does the dog change? I mean, is it the checkpoints? Is it the start? Is it they get a little squirrely because they're in that environment? Is that kind of where they get used to that type of thing, and then they've been there so they know it? Or what?
Yeah.
What's the difference between a dog that hasn't raced and one that has?
Just the experience and the confidence and being comfortable around teams and other teams and the checkpoints. Checkpoints are busy with teams parked next to each other, and there's a lot going on, people walking around all over the place. So just met that mainly, just the experience of being around the course and doing some of those longer runs and stuff like that. So yeah, they usually, as they get older and they do more races, you can just kind of see their confidence grow and they just get more comfortable. So in a race like this, it's beneficial for a dog to be as relaxed as possible. They're expending plenty of energy on the trail. And if you have extra nerves, it's even more energy that's being expended unnecessarily. So the more relaxed they can be, if we can get to a checkpoint like these veteran dogs that have raced all over, we'll get to a checkpoint and really no matter what's going on around us, they know what to do. They're going to eat, they're going to lay down on the straw, and they're going to take a nap, the younger dogs will be up looking around, wondering what's
Wasting time.
all the commotion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but every year, you're going to have a few of those younger dogs in your team that have to learn.
So you have to kind of go through it and you know it. So they're kind of training, isn't it?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Um, the the purse at 200,000, that's something else. I mean, and you're on the board, to come kind of, I won't say full circle, but to start and now be a part of the development of the race over time. What do you think of that? I mean, that to me, it's really cool from the outside in.
Yeah. I mean, mainly it helps keep our local circuit going really well. I mean, obviously it draws a lot of attention for the teams that come in from out of the area for the K300, but we have so many other races throughout the year that support all the local teams that do this. And that's really how our race stays relevant and stuff, by having, Bethel's a mushing community. The region is a mushing region, with, every weekend there's a race almost, with good sized purses. They keep growing and getting bigger. And, there's anywhere from 15 to 20 local teams racing in these, 50 to 150-mile races that we have out here. So it really helps support. Nothing's getting cheaper. Dog food keeps getting more expensive. Everything gets more expensive. So to be able to keep building our purses and supporting the local teams that live in the area.
That's a really good point. I mean, the purse sustains the team. It's not like, oh, gee whiz, I won whatever, I can just go blow it. Because to be successful, you have to. I mean, as we were in your yard a bit ago, that there was two big pallets of food there that are very expensive, and so you really, that's something to be proud of for me. Is the board and the committee not only producing the K300, but all the supporting races. So, speaking of support, you've got. It doesn't all come from purse. Talk about your sponsors.
Yeah, I have a lot of the same sponsors back again this year that have been with us for a long time now. Ryanair's been with us from day one, and back in 2009 or 2010. And they're supporting us again this year. So thank you to Lee and Boyack, and then Donlin Gold, of course, is a main sponsor of mine. They've been on board now for probably over 10 years. So thank you to them again. And Northern Air Cargo, part of those expenses is flying dogs in and out, and dog food in and out, and all the gear and equipment that goes with it. So they've been very key, in helping us transport stuff back and forth between here and Anchorage, and even Nome and stuff like that when we do Iditarod. Harmon and Polly Hall have supported us for years. Linden Connect, one of my former employers, supporting us again. So we appreciate everybody's support. And it's been very, very meaningful to have the amount of support we've had, not just with sponsors, but with the whole community and people up and down the river, and friends and family. And, it's made it very worthwhile.
Yeah, it's really been, it's been an amazing thing to see mushing grow. I mean, at one point, mushing was the way of transportation, and then it was kind of a side thing. But now it's a lot of even kids are doing it. We have a young musher from Akachuk. How old is he? 18?
Yeah, 17, I think. Yeah. I need to get special board approval to race. But he's been a competitor in all our local races now for 2 or 3 years, and yeah, he's very into it, and it'll be fun to watch him go down the trail.
Yeah, and talking about sport, his whole village is behind him. So it's really cool. And then when you get the village behind, then you also have all the interest back into mushy. So, all right. Well, Pete, good luck and have fun out there.
Thanks, John.
You bet.